Hey everybody, it's Lauren deLisa Coleman. We are still inside of the Austin Film Festival. Super excited to bring you this next interview, which is coming to us all the way from Spain. We've had like different hurdles to jump over in terms of scheduling, but we are finally making this happen for this film called Jacinto. And I would love for you guys to welcome here with me, Corinna Rautenberg, welcome, and Javi Camino, who is the filmmaker behind Jacinto, and Corinna is one of the actresses. And so Corinna is going to be good enough to translate for us from Spanish. We go like kind of slowly, but she'll also be just kind of filling in because Javi is a native Spanish speaker. And so you guys, welcome and thanks for taking the time. So you have Jacinto in the Austin Film Festival. And like I was telling you just offline a few minutes ago, like you guys are going to love this description. Is when I saw it, I was like, we have to talk to them. So Jacinto is described as, let me just read it so I don't miss anything. Texas Chainsaw Massacre meets Forrest Gump. Like, how can you not be interested in that? So Corinna, tell us in more, I guess, specifically beyond that, what is Jacinto about?
So I'm going to tell. Okay. So Jacinto is like a 9-year-old boy in the body of a 40-year-old man. And he lives in the rural Galicia, which is in the northwest of Spain. And he lives there in a small like half-abandoned village with his family and has a very quiet life. He has his interests. He loves watching vampire movies. He doesn't speak. So since his childhood, nobody knows exactly what happened, but he doesn't speak. You see Jacinto like doing all his things he liked, like watching movies, for example. And one day there appears a couple of girls from Sweden, and I'm one of them. I have the part of Anna in the movie, and me and Alex have a black metal band. So we are all dressed in black metal style, which is quite a contrast to the
rural style.
Yeah, the rural style of Galicia. The relationships are quite difficult. The communication is quite difficult. Yeah. Things are getting messy in rural Galicia.
Yes, messy in many ways. So how did this film come to be? I mean, I don't know if you, Javi, if you want me to ask you that, and Corinna, you try to interpret or however you guys want to be able to do it. But I mean, since it's kind of Javi's baby, I wanted to just, ask him, like, how did this kind of, I don't know, it's just an unusual kind of concept. How did you think it up? It's very, very cool.
Realmente es una mezcla de un montón de cosas que me fueron gustando a lo largo de mi vida, ¿no? Como siempre me gustaban el black metal, siempre me gustaban los cerdos, siempre me gustaron los vampiros y siempre me gustó el terror rural. Y en la película, pues, lo he mezclado todo, digamos.
I understand, but for those who may not understand Spanish, I didn't get everything, huh? But yeah, but I understand he loves vampires and everything else, and it just seemed like he put all his loves together for this film.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, exactly. So he always loved black metal and pigs, he said, because there's a main part of a pig in that movie of Martinho, which is the best friend of Jacinto. And yes, what else did you say? Rural terror movies. And yes, and everything is like mixed in that movie, mixed up.
So, Javi, tell me a little bit about your filmmaking background.
Bueno, hice un poco de todo. Series para televisión, videoclips, cortometrajes y trabajos para vídeos industriales, vídeos comerciales. Llevo ya 15 años haciendo cosas, pero mi primera película un poco profesional es esta, mi primer largometraje profesional. También hice un largo antes, muy amateur, también así de serie B, pero con muy, muy poco presupuesto. Eso sería.
Okay, part of it, I got Corinna, please correct me,
Yes.
and or expand, but he's done a
Yeah.
gang of different stuff, everything from commercials to videos to everything. But this, if I understood correctly, is the first, well, and you've done short films, but this is the first feature length film. And then after that, though, I got a little bit lost.
Yes. Eso es.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Yes.
Hooray for my
Well done.
Tienes buen español tienes. You have a good
What
Spanish.
made him decide to, or Javi, what made you decide to actually, finally take the plunge into doing a full feature? And how come this kind of genre?
Porque empecé en esto realmente para conseguir hacer un largometraje. Empecé en el mundo del filmmaking, en el mundo audiovisual, porque siempre me gustó el terror. Desde pequeño me gustaban las películas de fantástico y de terror, y siempre fue mi sueño, ¿no? Realmente lo otro lo hago para ir sobreviviendo y comer, pero mi sueño siempre fue hacer pelis de terror.
So it has always been his dream to make a horror movie. So from child on, he loved horror movies, and all this stuff he did before, it was more or less like to get to this point, to make a horror movie finally. Yeah.
Very cool. Well, we were talking just a little bit offline before, we started this interview, and I said, I noticed that the film was at the prestigious film festival there in Spain, which of course is a number of different horror films. I mean, I guess it's known for, that's where you're showing like horror films. And so I guess, I don't know if it's a coincidence about like Spain and horror, or is it like a trend? Is Spain known for, or becoming more known for the horror genre, or is this all just, like I said, a coincidence? I mean, what do you guys kind of think about that? I mean, because for a little while it was all about the Latin American perspective of horror, and I can't remember the name of the two major directors, I believe from Mexico during the time. Do you remember when they won Oscars and all that? And it's fantastic. The interpretation of horror from that culture is really, it's, like nothing else that like somebody from American culture could come up with. That shit is really scary. It's fantastic kind of horror, almost in the vein of like maybe Japanese horror, right? It's interpreted in very different ways, very unique and special. Do you feel that, again, is this something that is building in Spain, or maybe, it's something that I'm not really aware of, has always been there, or, not?
Siempre hubo terror, pero yo creo que este año, por ejemplo, sí que hay un mayor número de pelis de género. Que, por ejemplo, lo vimos en el Festival de Sitges ahora, que es una de las ediciones que más películas españolas hubo. Entonces sí que algo está pasando en España con que parece que empieza a haber una tendencia con el terror y tal.
So he says, well, there were always horror movies, but it seems that at the moment it's kind of like a trend. It seems, because in the Festival of Sitges, there were more Spanish horror movies than ever. So it seems like in Spain there is something like coming up in this.
Okay, I thought so. And I wonder why, but yeah, it's just very interesting because the interpretation is not like, standard. And that's what makes it exciting. Again, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre meets Forrest Gump. Like that's not going to come out of just a regular, Hollywood scene, right? So I think we can look forward to even more creativity in the horror genre out of Spain. But tell me how the process came about for the Austin Film Festival for, this film to be involved all the way from there in Spain.
Sí, lo conocíamos porque siempre van muchos guionistas famosos a hablar, nos llamó la atención, y como tenían ya esta sección que es como para películas un poco oscuras, pues dijimos, vamos a probar suerte, y la inscribimos ahí. Y nos llevamos una alegría cuando nos cogieron, nos seleccionaron.
Okay, so The film crew knew about the film festival, and they tried their luck, to get into that festival. And when they answered, it was very like happy, a happy moment.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
yes,
cool.
and they knew
I
had
heard Suerte in there, so
yes,
okay,
yes.
cool.
So they knew that they had like a category that is like more like darker movies.
Yeah.
So that was good for us.
Yeah, like Tribeca does too. Like, I mean, on Sundance, after midnight, like you could see anything there. Some of the things I don't go because I don't want to be too scared, but not too scared. So what else do you guys have? Well, wait a minute. Let me ask you, a question, Corinna, before we jump to that. I mean, what was it like for you being in this picture?
It was an incredible experience for me because it's my first role. I've never acted before, so it's my first movie. And working with
how did you find yourself in this position as like the first time ever?
Yeah, a friend of mine told me that Angela, the other one of the black metal band in the movie, she's a friend of mine, and they told me that she's about to make a movie with Javi because they already knew each other. And so they casted just one role for the movie. The others were already like known. And they casted me. So I went to the casting and I got the role. So I was super happy. And we recorded it last year in July. So this was, for me, it was an incredible month with very lovely, motivated people. And I found my passion for acting.
That's so cool. So wait a second, though. You guys shot in July 2020? And it was no problem. So Spain was not in lockdown at that moment then?
At that moment, not.
You snuck out. Which is it?
It was just the moment like they opened up and then we said, okay, we have like a few weeks to prepare everything, and we do it in July, but we never knew, okay, maybe they will we will have another lockdown in the middle of recording, or so it was like very how do you say that?
Well, I'm sure stressful, right? Because you don't know if you're going to be able to finish.
It was like now we're
not have to pick it up later or anything. So if you made it through, this is your first time, Corinna, I think you can do anything now, right? Because that's kind of a very challenging way to have an initiation, right?
Yes.
So
it worked out perfectly. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it worked out perfectly. So, we're all
That's
very
happy. So anything else you guys want to add about either the film or filmmaking process, or any suggestions you might have for other filmmakers or first-time actors, Corinna?
Yo puedo sugerir lo de no trabajar con cerdos, que es muy complicado, ¿eh?
Wait, don't work on something that's something complicated. What was it? I don't want to miss it.
No. Javi says he's not recommending working with pigs in movies because this is the most challenging thing ever.
Yeah, they always say don't work with animals and children.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
I could only imagine. It's funny.
Yes, and pigs
earlier,
are quite stubborn. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, I don't think it'd be like working with dogs. I was interviewing another filmmaker earlier who has a robot in his film, and he said that too is very challenging. Children, animals, robots. Kind of it's going to make you have a lot of patience. Yeah. Well, I'm just so glad to be able to talk with you guys. I hope that the film is going to do well at Austin Film Festival, and just keep that horror genre going like you can only do there in Spain. It's a very, very creative vibe. And yes, just thank you both so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having us. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you.
So you guys, thanks for watching. We hope that you've enjoyed this interview. And I am Lauren deLisa Coleman for the Inside series right here at film.io.